So today we're doing another muscle support session. We're going to be doing this as a Tabata, which is going to be 35 seconds on, 15 seconds off, rounds of 6. The whole idea with these ones is for each new round, we're actually going to be progressing the technique. Now, if you find that you are uncomfortable with the progression, it's a bit painful, etc., or it's just a bit much, that's fine, stay with one of the earlier techniques. But this is basically just allowing you to push yourself a little bit further in each round, if you want to. So the first 3 are going to be progressions based on a glute bridge, on a calf raise, and on a shoulder press or a shoulder hold. So it's just working on a few different key parts of the body. So your ankles and knees, your hips, and your shoulders and elbows. So just working through the key joints that tend to get a little bit of potential injury to them. We are going to start with a little bit of a warm-up just to stretch things out. So give yourself a bit of space. All you are going to need for this session is a chair or something stable that you can lean on, maybe a small set of dumbbells or weights. You can use whatever you like. It's all good. So just to start with, just going to do a bit of a head roll. Just loosen out the neck a bit. Then we're going to come the other way. Going to roll the shoulders. And forwards, or backwards if you're going forwards. We're going to do a couple of crossbody crunches, so you can raise one knee to the other elbow, step across. So try and keep your body upright, so not curling over. Keep your spine up and bring the knee into the chest. As usual, and I keep forgetting to say this and that, feel free to throw in any music you like. Tabata, you want something with a little bit more high energy, a nice strong beat. I'll try and pop a few suggestions into the description below. But it's always much nicer than just hearing me talk at you. A few more. We're going to do a quad stretch, so you can take the chair into account if you want. Just pulling up the leg, making sure you can stretch up the front. And the other side. You can do a quad stretch, hamstring stretch rather on the ground. So this one here, straight leg, or you can utilize your chair or bench and do a higher version, which allows you to kneel into it more. And again, enjoy a nice stretch without it being quite so low. And change. And do a couple of squats, so feet hip width apart, gentle coming down, squeeze with the glutes as you come up. So really just starting to warm up the lower body, because it's going to be getting a bit of a warm up or workout right at the start. 3 more. Shake out your wrists and ankles, give them a bit of a roll around, give them a bit of love. Press them into the floor for your feet. All right, so the first round is going to be a basic bridge, then a calf raise, then some dumbbell presses. So I'm just going to lower the camera angle a wee bit for you. All right, so again, mat or towel on the floor, be a little bit more comfortable. A bridge is working your glutes and your hip joints. You start lying on your back, feet a little bit away so you don't want them right into the backside. Kind of hip width apart is nice and comfortable to begin with. And all you're doing is focusing on pushing up from the base of your spine, coming up, so it's nice and taut, nice and straight, squeezing the buttocks, long extension through the body, and then rolling down from the top of the spine. So I want you to think about the vertebrae in your spine. So picking up the base vertebrae, next one, next one, next one, next one, until it's all raised. Coming down, start at the top of the spine, between the shoulders, roll it down, till you're at the back on the floor. So it's really nice for rolling out your spine as well. You can have your hands right across the chest, on the floor, out wide, wherever you like, but really focus on squeezing up, keeping the knees over the toes so they're not coming out or in. So at that alignment, not that one or that one. So that's the glute bridge. Next one is a calf raise. You can use the chair for this. So all we're doing is, feet hip width apart, coming up, pulling up through the legs, so all the way from the glutes, so from the backside through the thighs, through your calves, down to your ankles, coming up to the point between your big toe and your second toe. So really squeeze it in as you come up and control it as you come down. That's your calf raise. Then we've got dumbbell press or weight press. Do this seated or standing. I'll do it seated so you can see me. This one, I want your palms facing in at each other, so forearms facing in. So if you went from here to here, this is the position you're after. All we're going to be doing is focusing on the up. So breathe out on the up, control breath in on the down. So slow movement up and down. So those are the 3 exercises. We'll do 2 rounds of each. So we'll do the bridge, calf raise, press, and then rotate them again. And then we'll have a bit of a break. So don't forget to stay hydrated. If you haven't got some music on, this is probably a good time to throw it on. And we are going to start in 10 seconds with our bridge. So lying down, put your arms where it's comfortable, knees in line with the toes and the hips. Prepare to roll the spine up and hold at the top, up and down, and up and down. Again, do this in your own time. So everything should be very controlled. Continue through. Just going to turn up the volume on the timer. So you should hear it this time.
3, 2, 1.
And
stop.
So that's the first one. We've got 15 seconds. We're going to go into calf raises. So if you're going to lean on something, grab that now. Again, hip width apart. Nice and stable. Pull up through the thighs, through
3,
the ankles, through the
2,
calves.
1.
Controlled up.
Go.
Breathing out. Breathing in as you come down. Keep squeezing through the legs, through the backside. And if you want more of a challenge, take away any balancing aid, and then you can really focus on your strengthening the muscles with your balance as well as the raise. You might want your arms out for that. You might want them in front of you, wherever it works.
3, 2, 1.
And
stop.
All right, going into the dumbbell press. So seated or standing, remember it's coming in front of you, like this. Make sure you're not letting
3,
your shoulders rise up.
1.
And push
go.
them up. So think about extra weight above you. So you're pushing up against the ceiling. Always control the movement down as well, so it's not just falling, because that's quite damaging to your joints.
Three, 2, 1.
And
stop.
Get ready for your bridge. Back on the floor. Again, focus each vertebrae going up and each one coming down.
3,
Enjoy the spinal
2,
roll.
1.
And
go.
So breathing in as you come down, out as you go up.
Three, 2, 1. Stop.
Okay. Next, we have our calf raises. Again, if you want to push yourself, take away your leaning aid or your chair. Just focus on squeezing everything,
2,
keeping the ankles
1,
and knees aligned.
Go.
So really have to squeeze as you come up to help control the movement on the up and the down. Don't worry if you get a bit wibbly here and there, that's pretty normal. All you need to do then is just really focus on stabilizing those muscles, so really squeeze them. Almost there.
3, 2, 1, stop.
Okay, last one, dumbbell press or weight press. Roll the shoulders out. Remember to try and pull down the shoulders as you do this. Don't let them rise up to your ears.
3,
Squeeze the core.
2,
Up we come.
1,
And push.
Go.
So again, you want to maintain control the whole way through. The slower you do these, the harder it is on the body. So none of these are designed to make you feel a huge amount of exhaustion. They're letting you build up your muscles' endurance. So just slowly building them up, letting them push to a point where you go,
2, 1, stop.
Okay, that's round 1 done. Grab a drink. Good job. I love this timer. It always cheers for you at the end. You feel like you've achieved something. It's nice to feel there's someone in your corner. All right, so next round, round 2. This is a progression on all of those. Again, you can stay with the earlier versions. That's absolutely fine. It's always good to feel you're in control and feel that you're getting a chance to focus on the technique and getting it right before progressing. But for those of you who want a little bit more, these are the progressions. So if you are progressing for the bridge, we're going to do a squeeze. Now you can use something or you can just mentally squeeze. I've got this ball, you can use a towel, you can use cushion, anything, but it's basically going to go between your knees. So it's the same glute bridge. We come up, we're always squeezing in against what is between our knees. And that just adds another extra layer to the technique. So something a bit wider. So I said a cushion's good. If you're going to use a towel, you want it quite padded. You want something that really can push against. Not a balloon. Balloon is probably going to shock you when it pops. All right, so that is the bridge squeeze. Then there's going to be the calf raise. This is a bent knee calf raise. This means instead of working just more the gastrocnemius, which is the big muscle at the top, we're looking at the soleus, which is closer and down a bit lower in the leg. So this one, we are same position, so feet hip width apart, but we're doing this with our knees bent and just coming up. So trying not to move the height of our hips. All that's moving is our lower legs. So everything else is staying at the same height. So this is really going to work the soleus muscles. Also going to give you a little bit of work up here in the quads too. So that's progression 2. The weight press. So this one's a little bit different. This is looking more of a technique for the tricep. And I'm thinking in terms of if you're doing something like kendo, which has that forward attack motion with the shinai, but we're going to make sure you're balanced on both sides. So if you've got a weight, use a weight. We're going to come from the same position we started with, which is this one here, forward and back. So you don't want to jerk this one because you don't want to hurt your elbows. You want to squeeze your core and back. So this one is going to be working the muscles slightly differently. You'll probably feel a bit more puffed. If you're doing the standing version and you feel a bit of pain in the back, do it with your legs in a split leg. So you'll balance between the 2 legs. You can bend into it as well. And that just helps support, it just helps support your back. So again, you can do it kneeling. It will support that lower back a little bit more if you're feeling any kind of pain. Again, if you need to, stay with the original version. So, bridges, calf raise, presses. Same kind of techniques. You can progress them if you want. So another round of 6, 35, 15. Just going to start playing here. So glute bridge with a squeeze if you wish to squeeze.
3,
in position,
2, 1,
and go. Keep focusing on your breathing. Nothing worse than getting to the end and realize, I haven't been breathing for about 20 seconds, and you wonder why you're exhausted and feeling all dizzy. So make sure you're getting enough oxygen into your system. Almost there. The squeezing should have made a little bit more
3,
impact
2,
on your legs this time.
1,
And
stop.
All right, relax. Calf raises. So either standard or with a bent knee, either is fine.
3,
In
2,
position,
1,
bent
go.
knee. So just letting the toes and the heels push forward, keeping everything else where it is. Again, feel free to go back to the standard calf raise. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll still be working on all those support muscles. You want to make sure that your knees are staying in alignment with your toes. They're not going out, they're not coming in.
3,
So they're going straight
2,
forward.
1, stop.
And stop. All right, press to holds. Again, seated or standing, whichever you prefer. Keep the shoulders down, roll back. So literally
3,
roll them back.
2,
Into
1,
position,
go.
and forward. Breathe out, and in as they come back. Keep making sure your shoulders are staying down. Squeeze your stomach to your spine, so you've got your core supporting. Don't let it rush. Don't let the weight drop your elbows forward. If that's the case, you probably want a lighter weight. None of these need to be done with very heavy weights.
3, 2,
Because when we're doing
1,
moderate reps,
stop.
you want a lighter weight. All right, so stopping, we're back to our bridges. So grab your squeezy if you're using a squeezy. Go back to normal if you want a normal one.
3,
Lie
2,
back.
1,
Here we go.
go.
So squeeze as you come up. Squeeze the belly and the butt as well. Squeeze it all in. Put in a tight little cylinder.
Three, 2, 1, stop.
Rest. Okay. One more set in this round, and that is the press to holds. Also want to make sure when you're doing these press to holds that you're not letting your wrists roll.
3,
You want them to
2,
stay straight.
1,
So straight line
go.
here, straight line here. So this is quite good for those wrist muscles as well, not just the elbows and the shoulders. It's allowing you to really focus on building up the strength around them. Almost there. Oh, and I think I just realised I forgot to do the calf raises in between, so they'll come
1,
next.
stop.
Rest. Ah, my bad. I have it written down and I still managed to forget the order. So calf raises with a bent knee to finish off this round. Again, find your position wherever it
3,
is.
2,
Make
1,
sure
go.
your knees are coming straight forward over the toes. Even if you need to glance down to have a look at them, that's fine. Really focus on that alignment. Because that's part of what these ones are about, is making sure we're keeping everything aligned. A lot of knee injuries come about because we let the knee roll out of position. Almost there.
3,
Round 2 over. 2 more to go. There is only one more of this kind of set. The last one will actually be more of a core set. Grab a drink and I'll talk you through the next set. So, third progression choice. Again, you can stay with the basic, you can stay with the last set progression, or in this case, what we're going to be doing is a pulse. Now you can do either a pulse without a squeezy, or you can do the pulse with the squeezy. What that basically means is as we come up, we're going to stay there. We're going to focus on trying to push the hips forward in little pulses. So, pulse and relax, pulse and relax, pulse and relax. If you need to come down during the set, that's fine. Just roll back down, come back up after you've reset. You might find it's a bit tight in the lower back, so that's pretty normal. So, pulse bridges. We are then going to be looking at calf raises, again with pulses. Now, you can do this with either variant. You can have this with just the straight leg pulse. Actually no, in this case, we're going to come up and then pulse here. Is what we're going to do. So forget what I said before, we're going to come into that bent knee pulse in here. Again, if you need to reset at any point, come back, knee bend, raise the toes, heels, pulse. Again, feel free to stay with the early progressions if that's where you're comfortable and feel safe. At any point during these, again, feel free to drop back or take a second to reset before you come back in. All right, let's go. So starting with your bridges, basic, squeeze or pulse.
3, 2, 1,
and breathe.
go.
So think about making sure your hips and shoulders are even and balanced. There's no turning to the side. Think about pushing up towards the ceiling with your hips. Again, if your lower back's starting to get a bit sore, feel free to roll down and reset. We're over halfway there. You should be starting to feel it in your legs.
3, 2, 1, stop.
Stop. All right. Relax, shake out the legs. Calf raises, whichever variant you wish. If you are doing the third progression, you're going to start knees bent.
3, 2,
Pull up
1,
the heels.
go.
I'm going to pulse in position. So keep your back and your core upright, squeeze them in, squeeze the glutes. This one is quite a high progression, so do not feel bad if you need to stop and reset. Remember, you're going to be doing this one a second time. Again, focus on making sure the knees are staying straight over the toes. Almost there. Might be feeling a bit shaky.
3,
That's good.
2, 1,
And
stop.
Whew. Right. And we've got our press pulses. I'm sorry, I didn't even explain those ones, did I? My bad. So, I'm going to be holding up, and you can either
3,
pulse here,
2,
or you can pulse
1,
here. And
go.
go. So it's more about keeping them in the up position and pushing them out, or here, and just a little pulse up and down. So whichever one you can swap between, that's fine. Again, if your back's feeling a bit sore, squeeze the core or go into a kneeling or split leg position. If you're in this one, make sure you keep your shoulders down. In fact, both of them, keep your shoulders down.
3, 2, 1, stop.
All right, back to glute bridge. Pulse time. So lying down, get your squeezy if you're using one.
3,
And
2,
then get ready to roll up, breathe out.
1, go.
Pulse. Again, use this time to focus on your breathing. The more even you breathe, the more oxygen you're getting into the system, the less pain you'll actually feel. Natural analgesic, I think? Why not say? One of those. Painkiller. So squeeze those glutes. Keep them tight.
3, 2, 1. Stop.
Relax. Okay. So last you're going to need the squeezy. And calf raises with a pulse. Whew.
3, 2,
Bend
One.
knees if you're going to, bring up
Go.
the heels. Any point you can try and test your balance, because that'll give you another level of difficulty to focus on. But again, that's just going to help with your muscle support. You're really working the muscles around those joints, forcing them to focus on holding everything stable. We are almost there. Keep breathing.
3, 2, 1. Stop.
Rest. Okay. Whew. Don't know about you, but mine are burning. All right. Press pulse. Out, up, both, whichever you like. Roll down the
3,
shoulders
2,
into position.
1. Go.
Pulse. If you want to swap, this is round about the halfway point. Back's getting sore, squeeze the core, split stance, or swap which one you're doing. Almost there.
3, 2, 1. Stop.
Nice. Woo. Grab a drink. You've earned it. I know. All right. So, right. Next set of exercises. And this is just a core, just to make sure we're giving that a bit of love, because we've done some leg, we've done some arm. So these ones are all floor work. Again, if you've got a towel or a mat, this is the time to get it involved. So we're going to start with a plank. So we have 35 seconds on, 15 off, just like the other rounds. First round is a plank. Hands underneath shoulders. Fingers splayed wide, like your Spider-Man. You want to push down into those hands, into those wrists, so that your shoulders are pushing down out of the sockets. Extend the legs backwards, so that you're on the balls of the feet. And try and keep a long line. So try to make sure your backside's not coming up. Try and lower it so it's more in line with the height of your shoulders. And that's how we're going to hold our plank. Again, if you need to, you can come down from the plank at any time. That's perfectly fine. If you really don't like the plank, you can change it out for something like a mountain climber, which is a bit more active. So you start in the same position, but you're basically bringing one leg up at a time to the chest, and that can relieve some of the stress if you're feeling it in staying just in plank. So plank or mountain climber, that's fine. Next one we're going to do is an abdominal curl. They're very similar to crunches, but we have a very different focus. We're not trying to get up high. We're focusing on using our core. So knees kind of 90 degrees, hands laced behind the head, and I want you to think about pushing your hand or your head into your hand. So your head is trying to stay on the floor. And what that does is then allows you to focus on your belly button. I want you to push your belly button into the floor as you try and raise up your body. So that's going to activate you using the core muscles rather than using your shoulders and your head. So you're trying to keep your head and your shoulders back as you raise up using your core. So those are abdominal curls. You do not have to get up high. You're just trying to focus on making this work. Last one is going to be dead bug taps. Again, on the back, you're going to have your arms above you. Your knees are going to come up 90 degrees to what we call tabletop. Think about curling your spine at the base a little bit so it's coming up. And from here, all we're going to do is squeeze the belly button. Try and keep the backside not sitting flat like that, but curled up, so your sacrum's sitting up. And from here, we're just going to tap one leg at a time down to the floor, always holding from the core here. You'll find it gets easier if you roll your bum forward, so you're not going to be working as much. If you pull and roll it back, so coming back a little bit, you're going to be working that core a little bit more. But whatever level you need to. We only have one round of this, so you do each exercise twice, and then you're done. All right, let's start that off again. beginning with the plank or the mountain climber, whichever one you want to do. Remember, splayed fingers.
3, 2,
Stretch it out.
1.
Bum
Go.
height of your shoulders. If you need to at any time, readjust your hands to find the right position. Remember to breathe in and out calmly. Push away from the floor so that your shoulders pushing down out of your sockets. We're almost there.
Three, 2, 1. Stop.
Relax. Okay. Next one is the abdominal curls. So again, focusing on the core muscles. Turn this around a little bit. Come into position. Press your head into your
3,
hands.
2.
Focus on pushing
1.
your belly button to the
Go.
floor. So breathe out as you come up. Squeeze that belly button to the floor.
Three, 2, 1.
And
Stop.
relax. So the last one is going to be the dead bug. Again, if you bring your knees up into position now, think about where they're sitting and then just roll the base of your spine
3,
so that your back is
2,
a bit flatter to the floor.
1.
Here we go.
Go.
Tap. So breathe in as it goes down, out as it comes up. Reach towards the ceiling with your hands. Really squeeze your belly button to the floor. Focus on that breathing.
3, 2, 1.
And
Stop.
relax. Okay, last set of each of these. So going back into your plank or mountain climbers, whichever you really like. Technically, if you want to, you can do a hover, which is on the elbows. I do not
3,
judge.
2,
That one's a lot harder.
1.
Here we go.
Go.
Holding it up. If you need to, think about pushing forward off your the balls of your feet, and that can relieve some of the pressure if you're finding it hard to hold one position. Push along the legs, so straighten them out. Tighten the glutes. Check where your hips are, make sure they've not risen up. Pull them down towards your shoulder height. So you're making a long line from your shoulders through to your heels. We're almost there.
3, 2, 1. Stop.
And relax. Okay. Back onto our abdominal curls. Lie on the back. Place your fingers. Press your head back to your hands. Pull your shoulders
3,
and elbows back.
2,
Squeeze the belly button to
1.
the floor. And up.
Go.
Keep focused on breathing.
3, 2, 1. Stop.
Stop. Okay. One last set. That's your dead bug taps. So think about curling your bum up so your spine is a bit flat to the floor.
3,
Belly button,
2,
squeeze it towards the
1.
floor.
Go.
Reach the hands to the ceiling. Doing good. Keep focusing on the breathing. Squeeze that belly button in.
Three, 2, 1. Stop.
Hey, very good. All right. grab a drink, and then we're going to do a little bit of a warm down. Helps if I get the lip on the bottle. All right. So as with everything, always good to warm down. Just lets your muscles relax back into their normal position. I'm going to start front split, just as wide as is comfortable, and so you're getting a bit of a stretch on the inside of the thighs. Toes and the knees pointing towards the back, through the spine. Just breathe in through the nose, up through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. So we're getting our breathing back under control. Try and lean forward a little bit into the stretch, just as far as is comfortable. Try and think about your breath going into those muscles as you breathe out. It'll help you relax into it further. I'm going to bring both legs in front of us. So heels together, toes together, pulling up through the spine, reach up to the ceiling. I want you to reach forward towards the legs, bring arms out and up. So if your hamstrings or your hips are a little bit tight, you aren't going to be able to go very far, that's okay. So keep your feet flexed up. On this next one, try and hold down as far as you can, wherever that is. There's usually one of these that's a little less flexible than the others, and so it's going to restrict how far you can go down. And relax. Bring your feet into the butterfly or front position. Feet together, toes together. Just think about pushing your knees towards the floor as you pull up with the body. Just keep it there, or push them out a little bit further if you want for more comfort. Just going to bring one arm across the body, keeping the shoulder down, the arms straight. Other side. Just coming forward onto your knees. Just going to turn your palms up, fingers towards you, lay them on the floor. And just wherever you're comfortable, you can pull back and get a bit of a stretch. So it should be a stretch coming up from the back of the wrists up through the arms. So, like this. Release. Just bring your hands behind your head, shoulders and arms pulled back, so opening up your chest muscle. Just gently breathing in and out. Coming down. Toes together, knees wide. We're going to stretch forward into child's pose. Let your head rest on the floor if you like. Gently coming up. We're going to go onto our back. We're going to do a pretzel. So start in a T position, arms out to the side, feet in front of you. Bring your left knee up, grab it with your right hand, and pull it across to your right. So getting a long spinal stretch. Look towards your left arm. Think about pulling the knee or letting the knee drop to the floor. And close your eyes if you want and just relax. Coming back to the center, drop the left knee, bring up the right knee, left hand to right knee, looking towards the right. Gently coming back. All done. If you're still feeling a little bit tight in the calves after all that work, you can add on another stretch to the leg. So whether you use a table, a chair, a wall, basically putting one foot behind, stretching it out straight and leaning forward. So whether you're against the wall or the chair, what you're doing is working this back calf. So just keeping the heel on the floor and just holding it there for about 3 or 4 breaths. And change over. Push that heel to the floor and then bend forward as far as you can go to maintain it there. Good. And you're done. Good job, everyone.